Welcome back to the Snowpoint Cast. Today we've got a deck profile from 2019, a deck called Firebox. So Kaya Lichtleitner won the World Championship in the Seniors Division this year with this deck. It's really powerful, really cool. Let's check it out. So starting off with 4 Jirachi. Jirachi is one of your main consistency Pokemon, 70 HP. Stellar Wish is the ability. So essentially if it's active, you can put it to sleep. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Take a trainer card you find there, put it in your hand. So the sleep is actually not that relevant either because of a trainer card that you play that we're going to get into a little bit. Lets you pivot out of sleep. But just nice to be able to find consistency cards. You're also playing 3 DedenneGX, another great consistency Pokemon. So 160 HP. It is a 2-pricer, so it is kind of a liability on the bench. A lot of stuff kind of capitalizes off killing Dedenne, but if it's to play the game, it's worth it. So Day change, when you bench Dedenne, you can discard your hand, draw 6 cards. You can only use 1 Day change per turn, but you play 3, so you can use multiple in a game. It's really useful for, I'm obviously just finding new cards, but there's a couple attackers that attack based off cards in your discard. There's one in particular that attacks off fires in your discard, so you play a ton of energy, fire energy, and sometimes being able to get to those higher numbers so you can kill tag teams late game is also really important. Speaking of tag teams, you're playing 2 Reshiram. So Reshiram Charizard GX tag team, 270 HP, which is a tank. This is one of those later game tag teams that you might have to take out. Outrage for Fire Colorless does 30 plus 10 for each damage counter on this Pokemon, so just a great, 270 HP is a lot of HP. So if they're not killing you, you might be able to attack for 2, which is just a single attach, 1 turn, and then an attach, or a misattach and a welder, which means you might, if you're taking a kill, at least you're kind of keeping up. And if they're not able to kill you twice, then you might be able to take like a single prize kill and then a double prize kill. And then Flare Strike is really good. Outrage, there's a lot of positions where it's good, but Flare Strike and Double Blaze are both amazing. So Flare Strike, Fire Colorless, it does 230, and then this Pokemon can't use Flare Strike during your next turn. So obviously it needs a nerf with that much damage for that much energy. But 230 for 4 is really great, especially when you have Welder to ramp. It's just, you get that so easy. You can get that on turn 2 with an attach turn 1, and then a Welder for 2 turn 2, and an attach from hand, which is just a deadly turn 2. And then Double Blaze GX, 3 fires, does 200. If you have 3 additional fires, this deck does 300 total damage, so 100 more damage, and it goes through all effects of attack. So no effects, or not effects of attack, but effects on your opponent's active. So stuff like Safeguard, Ninetales, it just goes through that. So it's good to have a shred attack, especially when you don't have a ton of other attackers that can get through stuff. You have a couple, but if your opponent takes those out and then still has more Safeguard, then you can be in a bit of trouble. Playing 1 HeatranGX as well, so 190 HP. This is mostly for Hot Burn, because Hot Burn is just a better GX attack. It's essentially the same GX attack, but on a 2-pricer. So you're not committing a 3-pricer to the active, which is awesome. Burning Road is also a neat ability. So Burning Road, once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to become your active Pokemon, you may move any number of fire energy from your other Pokemon to it. So when it goes active, you can just move all the fire on the board, which is great if you've played a couple Welders, especially because of Hot Burn GX. So Steaming Stomp for Fire Colorless does 130, it's whatever. But Hot Burn, 50 times the amount of fires attaches Pokemon. So you move it active, put 6 total on there, and then it's killing every tag team, which is really good. Okay, they're also playing a 2-2 Alola Ninetales line. So this Ninetales is so good in the deck. Insane in the deck. So Ninetales, 100 HP. we'll talk about Vulpix. It's 60 HP. Tail Whip, flip a coin of heads, defending Pokemon can attack. Ninetales, 100 HP, 9 Temptations. Once during your turn before you attack, you may discard 2 fire energy cards from your hand. If you do, switch over your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So this is great just to be able to have a board control utility, like forcing to kill whatever in the active, especially if your opponent just has like a Jirachi or something. You don't really care about killing that. You want to target their energy or their like attacking lines. So just being able to bring that up, there's not a lot of cards in the format that do that. Just a Ninetales being able to go, hey, I have 2 fire energy, I'm going to just boss, or Lysander, whatever you're used to, Gust, up a bench Pokemon, and it can be really, really powerful just to be able to, especially with Flare Strike, right? Like your opponent has a 2-prize on the bench, they have a Dedenne, you can go bring up 9 Temptations, bring up the Dedenne, kill it with a Flare Strike, and then I'm up 2. And if you can't kill me, then I might kill you back with Outrage or Double Blaze. Okay, and you also have Flametail, Fire Colorless for 90. It is one of those things that can hit through Safeguard, as well as these 2 Pokemon. So Turtonator, 110 HP, Dragon type, Fire, Explosive Jet. Discard any amount of fire energy from your Pokemon. This attack does 50 damage for each card discarded this way. So great that it doesn't have to be Turtonator. It means you can kind of build a board and then have lots of different attacking options. You have to play a fair amount of pivot cards, so being able to pivot and then attack with Explosive Jet later on a single prizer that could potentially kill a tag team. If you have 6 total energy on your board and you ditch all of them, you kill a tag team. So it's really, really nice. And then it kind of has synergy with this card as well. So your Turtonator first, obviously, and then your Victini is one of your last attackers that you're going to be using. You clean up most of your games with Victini. 90 HP, Fire, Infinity. This attack does 20 damage for each energy card in your discard pile. So with Turtonator and Reshiram, you know, you're attacking a bunch, you're dedenning, you're discarding kind of energy. You can kill anything late game with this Victini for 2, and it's a single prizer. So a single attach and a single attach from Welder, or just a Welder, and you get there. So really, really strong card. It's Prism Star, so it kind of makes sense. Okay, getting into the trainers, you're playing 4 Cherish Ball. So Cherish Ball, search your deck for a GX Pokemon, put it in your hand. Just great card, just able to find Dedenne, Heatran, Reshiram, just a really, really solid card in the deck. Playing 3 Acro Bike as well, just another consistency card. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one of them in your hand, the other in the discard. So great with Victini if you want to discard fires, but also great to find fires if you want to welder them on. Like I said before, you're playing a fair amount of pivot options. You got some pretty fat boys, like Reshiram is 3 retreat, I think. Yeah, 3 retreat. I'm just ruining everything here. And then the Heatran is 3 as well. Ninetales is only 1, but you really don't want to be attaching to something else. If, like, let's say you don't have an attacker and you have to put something up. It's usually Jirachi if you can, but sometimes you have to stick something active if your opponent has been killing your Jirachis, kind of thing. You have to be careful with your Jirachis too, because in this format, it's kind of a weird prize game where, like, if you let your opponent have a Jirachi, they can just kill a 2-prizer and a 3-prizer, and then that's their route. They just finish the game by doing that. So sometimes 1-prizers, you kind of want to feed them different lines of play. Like you want to go Jirachi and then into another 1-prizer, into a 1-prizer, into a 2-prizer, into 3-prizer to end, kind of thing. So I don't know, feeding 1-prizers isn't always that good. Anyway, switch just to be able to pivot your attackers. You like hitting Heatran, switching to Heatran is super good. Switching out of Jirachi as well. So you can promote Jirachi if you have a switch in your hand. It just gets you a little more consistency because it finds you a trainer. Playing 3 Pokécom as well. Usually I like Pokécom in decks with a little bit higher Pokemon counts. This deck has 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16 Pokemon. So it's not that much. I usually like to see at least 20, like a third of the deck if you're going to be playing Communication. Real Pokemon from your hand, put it under your deck. If you do, search your deck for a Pokemon. So because you only play 16 Pokemon, it's not that high, but there is not a ton of good Pokemon search in this format that can get stuff like Ninetales or, you know, other Pokemon. So just being able to find the Ninetales is really important. Also Turtonator and Victini is really good, and you know, it's consistency as well because you have Dedenne and Jirachi. So finding Pokemon is obviously really good. You're kind of lackluster on your Pokemon search, so you have to play 3 Pokécom. You're also playing 2 Escape Board. So this is the card that I was talking about earlier with Jirachi. Escape Board is a tool. You can put it on Jirachi. The Pokemon that it's attached to is 1 less and can retreat through sleep and paralysis. So being able to retreat through sleep is obviously amazing with Stellar Wish, but having the 1 colorless less retreat is essentially a switch card that you can keep using over and over. As long as you have the Jirachi and the Skateboard, you can just promote it, Stellar Wish every turn, retreat, and so it's a great consistency option if you can get that onto a Jirachi. I was playing 1 Pal Pad, shuffle 2 supporter cards from your discard pile into your deck. You only play Welder, so it says shuffle 2 Welder from your discard pile into your deck. Really good card in the deck. Fiery Flint, you can only play this card if you discard 2 other cards from your hand. Search your deck for 4 fire energies and put them in your hand. So finding fires is obviously really good for Welder. And also a couple other your cards that we're about to just get into help with your consistency as well. So actually, let's get into that. So Heat Factory, it's a Prism Star card. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a fire energy card from their hand. If they do, they draw 3 cards. And it also can't be bumped by item or supporter cards. It has to be bumped by a true stadium. There's a lot of really good stadiums in this format, so it doesn't usually stick for that long. But even 1, play it, discard a fire, draw 3 is still like great as a 1-of-a card. If there was a card that says you can only play 1 of it, discard a fire, draw 3 cards, you would definitely play it, and you do, and it's this card. So you're also playing 3 Giant Hearth. Giant Hearth is another amazing card, kind of another discard card as well. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a card from the hand. If they do, that player searches their deck for up to 2 fire energy cards, reveals them, and puts them into their hand. So that's great for Ninetales. Obviously, you just get to get a boss if you have fire like that. And then also Welder, of course, because you can Giant Hearth for 2 fire, welder them on. If you have an additional fire, you're attaching 3 in a turn, which is just broken. Welder's an insane card. Speak of the devil, Welder is broken. Attach up to 2 fire energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, draw 3 cards. So it's ramp and it's draw. The draw is not amazing. It's only draw 3, but ramp 2 fire from hand is gas. It's very good. The best deck in the format, Mewtwo, won Worlds using that strategy. Just did that to Mewtwo and then had some other energy as well. This is another really top tier deck. Firebox is still really good. I think it does slightly lose to Mewtwo. But it's very, very powerful deck because Welder is just so good. Like if your opponent's not doing anything, you're like, oh, you're having an attach pass, I'll hit you for 230, take 2 prizes, and then they're just kind of done. Welder's broken. This is such a silly format to play because of Welder. So you play 18 fires, which is a ton of fire energy, and the reason that you do that, this is like theme deck level energy 18, 1/3 trainers, 1/3 Pokemon, 1/3 energy. But it's great because you were able to Ninetales really consistently, as well as Welder consistently. And a lot of your draw, like the Heat Factory, and you just want to find fires all the time because you want to be Weldering every single turn of the game that you can. So just being able to Welder on fires consistently is really good. And you play, with the Giant Hearths in 18, Kaya won Worlds, so I don't imagine the deck is not consistent. I've only played it a few times, but if it's consistent enough to get there, then 18 is, I trust the judgment of Kaya because she's European. I don't remember where in Europe exactly she's from, but she had the European team like backing her that year, and that they definitely rocked a really solid deck list. So yeah, this has been Firebox for this 2019 Worlds format. If you have any questions about the deck, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get to them. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.